drugs we have in our shelves. But in one way or the other, many cheap drugs, and of course we need to have cheap drugs in the country, but which are of good quality, which are able to treat different ailment which occurs within the Republic of Kenya, so that we can have a healthy society. The control of how the drugs are dispensed from our chemists is an extremely important function, and this bill is coming to regulate how this is going to happen. And therefore, Madam Speaker, the effort which can be put in place by the committee is very commendable. But as this is happening, before this bill is enacted, before it comes into law, is it possible, Madam Speaker, to move with speed and check whether the drugs which we have in our shelves, because some of them have already been ruled that they are not fit for human consumption. They are not good to treat some of the, especially children, pediatric drugs. Some, they seem to be addictive. Is it, before we enact this, before we ensure this is done, I think the authorities concerned within this space, they should also be able to move with speed and check what is being sold in our pharmacies, whether it meets the required standards. And I was in the process of working on a report which we can table in this house as far as this is concerned. And because this has come on the floor of the house, I didn't know whether there's an effort by the chairman Pukose to work on this. Please, let's see what is being sold in our pharmacies is of good quality, so that we may not be adding more problems when we are claiming that we are treating people from different diseases or different ailments. With those remarks, Madam Speaker, I support and congratulate Dr. Pukose with his team. Thank you.
The Honorable Irene Mayaka, nominated member.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, I also stand to support this bill, but with possible amendments. And Honorable Speaker, the areas that I actually want to focus on, and it's been mentioned here before, is that as a country, we have our own aim, and we strive to achieve the WHO maturity level 3 in terms of health. And when we allow clause 39 of this particular bill, subsection 4, to proceed, then in intent, we are trying to say that we don't really take into account what we are striving to achieve. Honorable Speaker, allowing the wholesale and distribution of drugs to anyone, especially the technical people who do not have the required qualification, is not only going to harm our pharmaceutical environment, but it's also going to affect the safety of the public. Honorable Speaker, for example, you can imagine if we have a drug like the morphine being easily accessible to people who do not really know how to prescribe it, how this is going to affect the overall population of our country. Honorable Speaker, we've had so many outcries from the pharmaceutical professionals, from doctors, in terms of how this is ideally going to affect us. And I think it's upon us as a House of Legislation to also take into consideration how this is going to affect the people out there. Honorable Speaker, it has come to our attention also that we've become a society where there's a lot of alliances to shortcomings and shortcuts.
Honorable Marianne, do you have an intervention? Because you've been lifting your hand. What is out of order, Honorable Marianne?
No, Madam Speaker, because this motion is, this bill looks very popular. I think after she finishes, I think we can ask the mover to reply. Understand.